So I won't lie to you, this episode was a tad bit difficult to watch through. It is very, very dark and very depressing and just kind of yucky. Kind of leaves you with a yucky feeling, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. I think the episode did a good job in conveying a message. Very dark and, again, bleak message, but a message that is needed for what is happening in the story right now. The tonal shift here is... It makes sense. It makes sense. Where we're going in the story and what is happening, it makes sense that this is how I should feel after watching this kind of an episode. And to start things off, just seeing Ash kind of plunge into this darkness, kind of decaying as a person. You know, he's kind of losing himself, and I think that is probably the most interesting thing happening here. He's going through anorexia, you know, and depression and anxiety, and it's understandable. Like, definitely get that. But I'm curious because there's so many different factors in play here. Is this just him personally? Is he just feeling this way personally? Is he doing this because he doesn't want to be useful to Dino? Is he doing this because he wants to punish himself? Like, there's so many different factors at play there that aren't very discussed upon. Ash in this episode isn't exactly the Ash we know. You know, it's not really a story being told from Ash's perspective. If anything, this episode's kind of told through Dino's perspective and Yu Lung, and I think that was an interesting change of pace. I thought they did a good job of kind of bridging the gap between what they've been doing lately. You know, it's always been about Ash and what he's doing, but this episode, Ash kind of takes a back seat, and again, we still see what's going on with Ash, but it's kind of through the eyes of the other characters, and I like that. I think that's a good idea. Eiji in this episode, I really, really liked as well. Him sort of just, you know, becoming a man, you know, he's stepping his game up, you know, he's doing a good job of trying to rescue Ash, and not only that, but just being strong. He's a strong character, and we've seen that character grow throughout the show. It wasn't just something that abruptly happened, it's something that's been built upon since episode 1, to be honest, and you're seeing it come into fruition here in a very just well done way. I think it's very well written. I got kind of lost in sort of the politics of this episode, the stuff about Afghanistan and what was it, the Taliban, I think, which is clearly supposed to be Afghan and the Taliban. Yeah, I don't think it was really important to the episode that much, but like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm supposed to know this stuff or supposed to care about this, but I really don't. I think it's supposed to be kind of just the backdrop of what's going on with Ash and Dino and sort of this family, like this crime boss kind of realm, and then that's fine. You know, that we don't need to know like truly what's happening there. Like, what is being the king of New York? What is this kind of throne that Dino sits on? Excuse me. I don't really get that. I don't really know what we're doing here and what the purpose of that role truly is. Maybe that's something that they touch upon later, or maybe I'm just not understanding it, or maybe they're not doing a very good job of conveying that, or maybe that's something getting lost in translation when it comes to the manga and how this adaptation is working. But I'm just not really getting the vibe that matters too much in terms of what's going on in the story. It's really just like, this is a powerful spot and Dino wants him there. It doesn't really matter what the details are regarding that spot, but it's there, and that's okay. You know, that doesn't really bother me. It's something I'm definitely willing to overlook, and I like how it is kind of elusive. I kind of dig that it does kind of have this elusive feel to it, and it's like, we don't really know what kind of power Dino is even speaking of. I mean, obviously we've seen Dino in action. We've seen what he can do in terms of, like, you know, killing Republicans and things like that. But I just think that, like, seeing more of that and having it actually make sense to the viewer would be a good thing right now. But again, maybe not a necessity. It depends on what direction we're going. A little prediction that I made in last week's review was saying that Sing and Eiji are going to team up to rescue Ash. That's coming into fruition, and I think it was pretty obvious. I'm not saying like, oh, I hit the nail on the head with that one. It's definitely something that was pretty obvious, and I'm kind of glad. I'm excited to see that kind of partnership. I actually like Sing and Eiji together. I think they have kind of they got kind of a lot in common. They're very noble people, and I dig that. They're definitely different people, but they have similar kind of motives there, and I dig Sing in this episode. It's nice to see Sing kind of, you know, taking the spotlight as well. We haven't seen too much of him the last few episodes, so it's good to see him. The stuff with Blanca is what I really want to get into. That's the meat and potatoes here of this episode, I feel like, or Sergey as you know, his real name. I did not like that. I didn't really I mean, I know. Okay, so he's teaming up with Yut Lung. He's working for Yut Lung now. That's not real. Am I right? Like, that's not real. Like, he's not actually working for him. He's kind of like a double agent sort of deal with Dino. That's not an actual real partnership there. When he's kissing his hand, like, that feels so, like, yuck. Like, no way Blanca's doing that. That's just not who he is. At first I was like, ew, I don't like this. This is bad writing. Like, this is just stupid. Blanca was not this character an episode ago, and now he's kissing his hand like he's a prince. But obviously it's not that. Obviously he has his own plans. You know, he's working for Dino and everything, and I'm kind of curious where that's going. What purpose does that serve? And what kind of is there like a rivalry or some sort of turmoil between Dino and Yut Lung? I'm kind of curious what's happening there. Obviously they don't like each other. They've had to work together under, you know, these circumstances. I'm curious what's going to be happening there. Is Blanca, is he going to be trying to kill Yut Lung for Dino just to get him out of the way? I don't really know. I really don't. I don't think that Blanca is going to kill AG. I don't think that he wants to do that because I think he does care about Ash. I truly believe that. Seeing Ash in the hospital bed was really rough. And the way it kind of, I don't know, I guess Blanca's sort of mannerism and his sort of body language gave me the vibe that he does care. He's kind of doing it in like a sarcastic, kind of a jerk way, but you can kind of tell that there's some sort of thing there. And again, that's something that I really enjoyed in last week's episode, talking about how there's this sort of understanding between them. Like, they know where they're coming from, they know what they're trying to do, they both get each other's goals. They just don't. They're both bad guys to each other, you know, and I really dig that, and that's kind of continuing here. That theme is continuing, and they're doing a good job of translating it. I think they're doing a good job of showcasing that. I could be completely wrong. Maybe he hates Ash. Maybe he's the one that ends up killing Ash in the end. I don't quite know. But I'm excited to find out what's going down and how Dino is involved with Blanca's development and how Yut Lung is involved and how Ash is involved. There's lots of characters. There's lots of pieces on the board right now, and it's just interesting to see Mappa kind of moving them around and playing around and Yoshida, what's been done there and how this has all been kind of plotted out. It's like we're all going to be meeting up on the 20th. Which is this big kind of tax evasion party or something. I guess that's what people do. People that cheat their taxes, they have parties about it, which I think is pretty funny. But I'm curious what's going to be going down then, this rescue mission. I'm assuming might be next episode. That's really exciting. Looks like we're going to get some big set pieces there. We're going to see Sing kicking some ass, which is always fun. He uses the cool wire thing. There was this assassin that went after Yut Lung. Well, I don't really know what that is. I never really got the vibe that Yut Lung had a lot of enemies. I mean, obviously he has a lot of people that hate him, but who's sending assassins after him? Maybe that was Dino that sent that assassin, and like they kind of plotted this, how he was going to rescue Yut Lung to kind of gain that trust, to gain that understanding, like, okay, now I'm going to be protecting you because I saved you from that dude that Dino sent, and now, you know, we have kind of this partnership there. I think that that's really smart if that is the case. It very well might be. Maybe I missed something, but I think that's a really good idea on Dino's part. Dino in this episode is rough, guys. It's rough. The scene where he kisses Ash, ugh, God, like, I just don't like it. I really don't. And the big scene, probably the best part of this entire episode, is when Ash sort of breaks down, where Ash really just goes off on Dino. There is some very explicit dialogue happening there, probably some of the most explicit dialogue that's been in this series. It's been in recent anime, to be honest, and it's tough to watch, guys. It's not easy. They're dealing with some heavy things here, and I like it. I like that we're talking about these things. I like that Ash is kind of finally letting all of this out. This is something that's been kind of deep within him for too long, and it's just nice to see him kind of not coming to terms with everything, the opposite of that, kind of breaking down and losing himself. Ash falling apart like that. It was very hard to watch, and just so much props to the VA there. Fantastic work. That was awesome. That was a really good job by the VA. Definitely felt the emotion. Definitely felt just the talent and just really good scene. A really well crafted scene. it was hard to watch, and they went all out with that scene. You know, I was expecting, you know, like I'm sure that there's even darker stuff going on in the manga. I'm sure they actually showed that kiss in the manga. They've been kind of like blocking that kind of stuff. It makes sense. You don't want to see a 50-year-old man kiss a 17-year-old boy. Like, that's weird. I don't want to see that. But the fact that they kept that dialogue pretty dark and pretty grim and disgusting, I got to give Mappa props. I do, because that's not easy. You know, you can get a lot of backlash doing that. I think that it's necessary. I think it makes sense, again, with the context of the story. And it makes me kind of sympathize with Ash so much more. You know, this entire series I've been sympathizing with him, and seeing a breakdown like that, seeing this invincible beast, as Blanca says, just falling apart, it's tough. And I think that's the biggest kind of takeaway I have from this episode, is this was a tough episode. This was a hard one to watch, you know, seeing these characters dealing with all this stuff, and it's gross. It's gross, and it's well put together. It is a disgusting sculpture that just looks really tragic. Tragic is the word I want to use. Yeah. Anyway, this was a good episode. You know, it was gross and hard to watch, but that is a good thing, again, in the context of the story. A little slow, a little bit slow for my taste. I think the episode kind of dragged a little bit, but I think it's a good thing that it's kind of slow, because I'd rather have it a little slow than rushing by. I didn't get the vibe that they were rushing through things here. Maybe a couple things here and there, but for the most part, like, I did feel like there was cohesion in this episode, and they were telling a story, and that story was told. I'm sure that they jumped around quite a bit in terms of the manga, but in terms of just actual entertainment, I thought it was a good episode, and I think that it kind of set a lot of stuff up in terms of what's going to be happening at this big party, and what's going on with Sing, and having Kane there at the end, having Kane appear. That was really cool. I dig Kane as a character, and I'm excited. I'm excited for what's to happen next. We're coming in on the final episodes, and I think that stuff's going to start hitting the fan soon, so get ready for these future reviews and get ready for the future discussions for sure. Thank you very much for watching. As always, you guys are the best. I love each and every single one of you. Make sure to comment down below and give me your thoughts on this week's episode of Banana Fish. And just let me know what you think of Ash kind of falling apart there. Let me know what you think of some of the manga differences here. Eiji and Sing and Blanca. Give me your take on Blanca. What's going on there? Did Dino send that assassin? Was that to build that trust? Is Dino smarter? Is as smart as I think he is? Dino punching Ash, kicking his face, like, ooh, like I don't like that. That's rough. And again, it fits so well with the context of the story, and it's just cool to see that scene we've been kind of waiting for a scene like that, and it's so nice. Give me your thoughts on all of it down in the comments below. If you like this video, you can hit the thumbs up button. If you didn't, hit the dislike button. Let me know if there's something that I need to improve in these reviews. Let me know. And yeah, as always, again, thank you very much for watching, and until next time, I will see you guys later. Bye-bye.